It's week 9. Okay. Don't tell anyone about this, but I'm going to show these to you, okay? And it's got to be our secret, you and me. I have here a pine cone. You can see it. Yes, it's a pine cone. And a piece of birch bark. Why am I being so secretive about a piece of birch bark and a pine cone? Because they came from Walden Pond. Yes. These are literary holy relics. I kid you not. Well, several years ago, your tax dollars helped send me and a bunch of other community college instructors to Concord, Massachusetts, where we went through a week of lectures and workshops and things, and studied the Transcendentalists. And the highlight of that trip for me was, I'm going to call it a pilgrimage to Walden Pond, where I was amazed to find out there were people in skimpy bathing suits swimming in the holy pond. Yeah, pond. It just doesn't sound that good. I read from Emerson last week. I thought I would read a little bit from Thoreau, how it's pronounced properly, this week. Okay, and it's on the screen here. That's why I'm looking off into the distance. I'm not like zoning here. I went to the woods because I wished to live deliberately, to front only the essential facts of life and see if I could not learn what it had to teach, and not, when I came to die, discover that I had not lived. I did not wish to live what was not life, living it so dear, nor did I wish to practice resignation unless it was quite necessary. I wanted to live deep and suck out all the marrow of life, to live so sturdily and Spartan-like as to put to rout all that was not life, to cut a broad swath and shave close, to drive life into a corner and reduce it to its lowest terms, and if it proved to be mean, why then to get the whole and genuine meanness of it, and publish its meanness to the world, or, if it were sublime, to know it by experience, and be able to give a true account of it in my next excursion. Okay, that's probably the most famous little bit of Henry David Thoreau. And if you compare that with the piece from the American Scholar that I read last week, or 10 minutes ago, if the time of the taping is taken into account, then you'll see that there's this similar thing in the Transcendentalist thing. Great term, right? I would mark that on your paper and say, could you have a more specific word? Yes, how about like theme, idea, concept? This idea that human beings are really the center of the universe, and that we can achieve incredibly wonderful, amazing things if we just allow ourselves to do it. A long time ago, long enough ago that it was at the very beginning of my teaching career, and if you look at the gray hair, you see that was a while ago, a movie came out with Robin Williams when he was still relatively young. The movie was called Dead Poets Society, and it's worth a watch. But in Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams famously stands on the desk and says, well, the world looks very different from up here. It does, by the way. I've done that. And the whole theme throughout that book is this idea of, kind of grabbing for the gusto, carpe diem, seize the day, do what you're meant to do, and all of that. The problem is, it turns out really badly, and his most prominent student winds up killing himself. And so this is an issue when it comes to people like Emerson and Thoreau. On the one hand, they say stuff that we go, yeah, man, that's great. But it's easy, I think, to live like Emerson did and to say, seize the day, man is the center of the universe, and all of that stuff, when you happen to have the inheritance you got when your first wife died, and you're relatively well off, without having to work for a living. Thoreau, at least, had to work for a living and struggled here and there. And it's easy enough to say, I was going to suck the very marrow out of life when you were able to, go out to your friend's woods and live there for a couple of years. I have a little more respect for Thoreau than I do for Emerson, because I think Thoreau was a little more honest about things. It is said of him that a minister came to his bedside as he was nearing death and said to him, Henry, have you made your peace with God? And Henry looked at him and said, I wasn't aware that we had quarreled. Yeah, well, that was Thoreau's view, and whether it be right or wrong, that's not my place to say, but certainly he was true to it to the end, and for that at least I have some admiration for the guy. In general, though, the idea that humans can accomplish just about everything that they set out to accomplish, that seems to me a little more of a problematic assertion. But that's a matter of opinion, and if you disagree, I'd love to hear about it. Okay? Have a terrific week. We'll move on to even more Transcendentalists. Yay! Next week. All right? Bye.